How's it going, everyone? Today I'm doing my first coaching session, you could say. The first episode of the Nekoaching. Okay, no, I don't know why I said that. But yeah, we're coaching this floor 7 Bridget player who sent me the replays. I'm just gonna go over them real quick. Hopefully I go over like some subjects broad enough so that they're useful for everyone to learn. But yeah, first of all, I'm just gonna pause real quick. Something happened already, which is I have the game open right here so that I can analyze and go into training, and I forgot to pause it, so we heard danger. But also something happened during the game right here. First of all, I'm not the biggest fan of going for like a random roll like this in neutral, because if we take a look at the risk reward of this is kind of trash, right? On block you get punished and you eat a full combo. On hit, well, you get this, which is basically nothing. And right here, 6-8, 6-8, 6-8 from Giovanna, and you decide to burst. If we go into training real quick, take over Giovanna, we can see that 6-8, 6-8, 6-8 actually leads into nothing. That was the end of the combo. So something that's kind of important to learn is what your opponent's combo actually are. So when it is actually worth to burst, here the burst is kind of wasted because nothing happened. So yeah, moving on. I'm not seeing a lot of movement. I'd like to like see you move more. You know, you're kind of just standing still. You're kind of using your 6k to move forward a little. But this game is a very fast game, and having access to a dash macro, being able to dash block, just kind of use your movement. This was a good yo-yo. Your opponent kind of threw out a random super, and you were able to contest it. And yeah, far slash, heavy slash, I like it. A little bit of a hopper into a close slasher, or was that a 5H-er? Not sure. Oh, pets the dog ending. That's kind of crazy. But yeah, using your movement a little more. This is only game 1, and I'm taking games like from very early, I guess, in your fighting game career, you could say, and we're gonna go through games that are more and more recent. So maybe you do improve upon that, and we'll see it, and hopefully you do. And if you don't, well, it will be something to work on. So yeah, once again, maybe I pause it. This is the second time you do this, so I'm gonna pause it and actually go into here and say opponent status, block all, counter attack settings, after blocking, go for sending slash. And as you can see, I get counter hit after this. On block, this is extremely bad. Even if you go for the break, if you go for the break, you can space it properly to have time to block. But here, this is just punishable. So if your opponent blocked this, you're kind of fucked. I guess they kind of whiff if you cross them up like this, but still, if they go for like probably 2H, they can contest. If they go for just 5B, it's a lot safer, they can contest. Point is, this isn't a very good option to go for neutral, although you can Roman cancel it into something, and this allows you to extend pressure. But yeah, I don't like going for this. It's just not the best. So I'm pointing it out. Bridget has a lot of better options in neutral, and notably just yo-yo toss. Your main like gameplay revolves around doing yo-yo toss into roll, into high-low, and even if they block, well, the yo-yo comes back, and on the way back, it makes it safe. So if we tell our opponent to actually block all with guard switching without a counter attack, so they keep blocking forever, if I have a yo-yo set behind them and I go overhead low, I'm actually safe because of the yo-yo. And yeah, you can kind of loop this pressure forever. If they do get hit, if we tell our opponent actually to stand up without guard switching, so they block the overhead and get hit by the low, this allows you to go for a second yo-yo, and you can pretty much like run 50-50s from there. That's kind of Bridget's full game plan. So the idea is that after this, you either go for yo-yo set if they're holding down back, or yo-yo toss if they're contesting. Because obviously, once again, tell our opponent counter attack, go for a far slash. If I just do this into yo-yo set and they hit, they kind of contest me, right? But if I do this into yo-yo toss, I actually hit them. So that's the mix-up here. So the mix-up between yo-yo set and yo-yo toss is very good, but this kind of mix-up between break and rolls is kind of ass. Your opponent can react to that. So moving on. This is only game 1. We're gonna try to speed it up. If it's something I can only explain while staying in game, we're gonna do so. But this is something I want to kind of go over. The idea is you have to think about what makes an option either good or bad. Good options usually have other options that cover each other. So yo-yo toss is good because yo-yo set is also good. Whereas opposed to kickstart my heart, I think that's the move. Kickstart my heart roll is not good because there's no other options that covers the mix-up. So yeah, that's only game 1. We're gonna go over right into game 2. And also a thing I saw, kind of I'm gonna mention quickly, but it didn't happen very often, we'll see if it keeps happening, is your usage of wake up buttons. If you want to wake up, you want to wake up with a very fast button because your opponent can time their move on your wake up to catch the startup of your move. So if you want to wake up with a button, go for your punch or your kicks. And if you want to wake up with a more committal invincible option, go for a reversal. Bridget has access to a DP, so you can go for that instead. A lot of mashing, you're getting counter hit a lot, which again, that's kind of because like on wake up you press a lot. It's okay to just hold down back, right? That's how you... I'd say like at a low level, the best way to win your games at a low level is to hold down back, wait for your opponent to make a mistake, and then punish with a knockdown, and then run OK after your knockdown. So a lot of mashing here. We're gonna pause to kind of go back into training and to talk to show what I was talking about. If I do something as Giovanna, right? I tell my Bridget to block. I control Giovanna right now. And is my opponent pressing after blocking? No, there aren't, but that's okay. So basically with Giovanna, this is plus. If you press after this, you'll get punished. But this is minus. So whenever you fight against a Giovanna and they go through their whole pressure and they finish with this dog, it's your turn. And when it's your turn, that means you can just do this and put your yo-yo down. And if that's your basic punish, whenever your opponent makes a mistake, you'll be completely fine because you can just do this into a big mix-up, right? Either you go for like an empty high, or you just actually go for an overhead, whatever the case may be. Just doing 2k2d into a setup which allows you to go for your big combo very consistently is a lot better than trying to poke or trying to whiff punish or whatever the fuck, especially at a low level. Just go 2k2d into your knockdown and then run your big mix-ups from there. Bridget is also a great character to do that, right? Depending on your character, it can be a lot more difficult. Yeah, here, I just talked about that, right? We just talked about how drill is actually plus on block. Dude, oh my god. I can only go back 10 seconds, so I'm gonna try to pause it at the right time. Drill is actually plus on block, as you mentioned, so because you pressed after drill, you got punished. Also, instant blocking. Let's talk about instant blocking. Block type, instant block. Instant blocking doesn't actually change the frame data, it just puts your opponent a lot, it just like negates a lot of pushback. So in the case of like instant blocking right here, just means that Giovanna is a lot closer than if I were to normal block. If I were to normal block, the Giovanna would kind of get pushed back. If the Giovanna were to FD, they'd get pushed back even more. And if they IB FD, they get pushed back even more. Actually, I get pushed back when they IB FD. The point is, the frame data is always the same. So if, as Giovanna, I do this, and you instant block it, it's the exact frame data as if you don't. So you have to be ready for a close slash coming. Like, I'm just so much closer to you when I do instant block, as opposed to let's say if I FD. If I FD it, I'm kind of further away, so I can't really, as the Giovanna, go for a close slash. I have to go for a flash slash, and you can keep FDing. You can keep pushing me further away. So yeah, when their move is minus, and you instant block it, you're kind of fucked. You have to just keep blocking. Good use of far slash and neutral, kind of controlling space. Good air to air, you're chilling. Once again, the yo-yo, I don't really like it. Another drill, here you hold down back, that's good, but yeah, you can't mash after this. And also another thing I'm just gonna mention briefly, I'm not even gonna go into training mode to mention this. After you get hit by a move, just block the next thing, right? It's very, very rare that your opponent can go for something on a hit that leaves them minus on hit. So if they hit you, expect them to be plus and expect you to have to block the mix-up that follows. That's kind of it. Yeah, if you get hit, block the second mix. If you block the mix, then you can press. But only press after you block. Don't press after you get hit. Game 2. Against Anji. Just gonna mention something real quick. Something that happened real quick is round start. Round start options for Bridget aren't the best. Far slash is okay. 2S is okay. 6P is meh. But against Anji specifically, you have the matchup specific round starts. Okay, I'm seeing a lot of more meter usage, I'm seeing a lot more movement, I like it. But talking about round start, Bridget loses round start against Anji. Spin beats Bridget's far slash, so don't go for far slash. I'm gonna go over like some specific round start option against Anji in just a second. But for now, we're just gonna go over this game. I'm seeing a bit more movement, but still, sometimes you're just standing still and pressing kick. It'd be better if you run up, or you run back, or you set, or you do whatever. Here at the end, kind of unstoppable. Anji's overhead is very hard to react with this match. Damn, it happened. Far slash, you got beat with a spin. With the throw there, if your opponent makes a mistake like that, throws in Guilty Gear are very, very slow, very, very high recovery. So if an opponent whiffs a throw in your face, make sure to try to take back your turn. Good pressure here, I like it. Keep looping your stuff. Take the wall break. Ooh, something happened here that I want to talk about. So here, you had 50 meter. I'm gonna try to pause it. Get the wall break. And you go into the kickstart my heart. Here's something you can do actually. Here I set the wall to break in one hit. So here the wall will break in one hit instantly. Meaning, if I get a wall break here, I can do this, right? But if you wall break with a super, you get a hard knockdown. Let's look at the differences in knockdown. So if I wall break with a super, I have time to do jump, air dash, and go for a move. If I wall break with a normal move, as you can see, I will be like, my opponent recovers and I don't even have time to jump before my opponent recovers. So, wall breaking with a super is better. If you get a super wall break here, there's kind of a maneuver with this kickstart my heart thing, where you go kickstart my heart and you go for the stop, and you do stop with a half circle motion to get super, to get stop super as a Kara. And it's kind of crazy, kind of cool move. You can practice it on both sides, right? It's quarter circle into super, and you can combine the last forward input of the first quarter circle with the forward of the half circle to get this. So if we go back to a wall break, 5H, I kind of cancelled already my move into kickstart my heart. If you look at the entire input replay, the idea is after close slash, I want to do heavy slash. But if I don't know what the wall health is, I'd like to cancel this heavy slash. And I can do that by inputting a special move during the super frame. As you can see, I'm doing close slash, heavy slash into special move. And I'm only getting the special move. And then you can do that into the Kara super. So this allows you to confirm into a super from any wall health. No matter what the wall health was, if I do this exact combination, I will always get super. So that's something to keep in mind. Pretty cool way to get a hard knockdown, pretty cool maneuver. You can practice that in training mode, on the left, on the right, you practice it. It's a pretty nice input. For now, it doesn't really matter, however. You just take your wall break, take your positive bonus, and you're happy. You like it, yo-yo set, and you go into your drill. You're doing what? The mix-ups, once again. I don't like this. It's not the best option, but as long as it's working, keep doing it, it's fine. As long as they don't punish it, you're fine. But like at some point, just never throw it out, because your opponent only punishing it once, the risk reward is so much like worse for you that like you will lose the game if they just punish it once. They're chilling, pressure in the corner. Always try to what the hell? Okay, no, don't FD like that. This is like the longest FD ever. Your opponent's not doing anything. Here they backdash and they're very far away. At this point, you can stop FDing, you can do your moves, you can try to whiff punish, you can put a yo-yo down. But also you're kind of just bleeding out resources and not doing anything. You want to be active and neutral, you want to throw out moves, you want to do whatever. That way, your opponent will be scared to jump in, they will be scared to approach. And also you gain resources as you hit, or as you whip, or as you block, or whatever. If you're just doing this and you're not doing anything, you're just losing resources. But actually it kind of worked out, right? You kind of baited your opponent hitting you, and you got a far slash. Pretty cool combo, but here, you know, the first time they block it. Charge overhead. Okay, pause. What the hell happened? Okay, first of all, charge overhead, it's reactable. I believe you should be attempting to react to these charge dust like this. They make a lot of sound, they turn you orange. But like right here, you use burst. What happened? I don't mind using burst here, because if your opponent gets the final knockdown hit type beat, they get positive bonus. So by bursting, you're nullifying their positive bonus, but they actually drop the combo. So if you see that they drop the combo, okay, a lot of mashing here, They keep hitting their 2D, they hit the overhead, mashing once again. Okay, let's just talk about DP real quick. This is a great opportunity to talk about DP. Bridget has a DP. How would I set this up? Can I do? Okay, give me a minute. So here we're doing Bridget versus Bridget. I'm gonna start by telling my opponent to block. We can remove this. We can then tell our opponent to counterattack with a slash button. So if I throw them, knock them down, and go for a button as they wake up, I'm just gonna win. Okay, actually I have to tell them to press on wake up. Actually, I was wrong about this. I input this a little wrong. But this is a good thing actually. I'm gonna gaslight you into thinking this is a good thing because this will allow you to know how to set up training mode things properly. So we don't want our opponent to block. We want our opponent to actually wake up with a button. Which one is the I think this might be DP. Hold on, let's check if this is DP. I don't know what the name of the DP is. Exactly, this is DP. Perfect. So we're telling our opponent to first of all just start with a close slash. So if we knock them down and we go for a button and we don't mistime it because we're stupid and we don't trade because we're stupid, this is a win for us always. If I press on a wake up, I'm gonna lose to someone putting a what's called a meaty, a move that I start as your opponent recovers into it, so that I always have the advantage. I'm always faster. This is called a meaty. So if I do this, I will always win the wake up. However, so this is why you don't want to match, right? However, if I wake up with a DP, well, DP is fully invincible. If you wake up with a DP, you will always win, except if they hold down back. If I call out that you will go for a DP, I will win. I will win by blocking it, and I can go for a massive punish afterwards. You can go for a punish here, just like learn your punish combo. I believe Bridget's best starter might be 2H here, because 2H is like a very good move. But yeah, just punish with this. Very, very nice. Let's actually go for a combo. Punish combo. Punish combo you can go for. A good combo for Bridget is 2H into yo-yo set. We're just gonna simulate this, right? Instead of having to wait for the recovery every time, we're simply gonna put our opponent at a punish combo state so we can just practice it. 2H into yo-yo set, into another 2H, into charge thing, so we get like kind of this weird timing. We want to get it at the timing that we get charge, hits on the way back, and after we land, we go for a charge dust, boom, and after the charge dust, we can go for our whatever, close slash, far slash, into whatever, into like something like this, right? 168 damage doesn't break the wall from here, but you can do this at anywhere on the screen, and this is very nice. You can also do this into wild assault, depending on distance, depending on your resources. You can finish this in a super when you're in a wall, whatever. Very nice combo, just 2H into yo-yo set, into another 2H, into a charge thing, into a charge dust, into whatever. So that's kind of a combo to go for. So yeah, don't mash on wake up. Do DP instead, don't watch on wake up. Let's go into second game against this Anji. And also, yeah, round start against Anji, learn them, learn your round starts, learn how to do wake up option, learn how to do DP, DP strong. But don't abuse it. If you start abusing DP, you will lose. Because risk reward. That's the only answer. Nice option, I like going for yo-yo break instead, but okay, let's talk about this. This is terrible. First of all, round start, once again, talking about knowing your opponent's combo. Anji has no combos after the overhead, the combo's over. You spend burst here on nothing, and then you get hit by a 2D punish, a 2D counter hit, which leads into a massive combo. You'd much rather have burst here. If Anji knew his combo, he would actually break the wall from here. So once again, know at which point you need to burst. Nice contest here, nice to kick. Know when you need to burst, because yeah, you don't want to burst a bad hit and then have burst missing when it's a good hit. Here, he could have won the round off of a close slash, but he wasn't quite ready. He didn't have a combo. Yeah. You're chilling here. You kind of mash into the bird. And yeah, does he win there? Unfortunate. So yeah, kind of just basic matchup knowledge. I'm not gonna go over all the matchup. I already talked about Giovanna. In Anji's case, it's after either blocking the overhead or the low. He goes for the same combo this time. Actually drops it, but you mash. This is another weird situation, right? You got hit. You dropped the combo, but basically you're recovering after a hit. As we mentioned earlier, after you get hit, block the next mix-up because you have a knockdown. Your opponent will be plus. Here you'd be better off blocking. Here you do block, hit by the low, but it is what it is. With the throw, once again, you kind of want to punish that. And yeah, unfortunate. This is kind of something that happens when you just hold FD. I wouldn't worry too much about FD, by the way. FD is cool. It's a cool resource to use to get out of tricky situations. But especially against Anji, FD is relatively weak. Let's go into training mode against Anji to go over a few things. So first of all, as we mentioned for the round start options, spin is actually exactly 10 frames started. So after the 10th frame, you have your auto guard thing. And Bridget far slash is exactly 10 frames startup as well. so you lose round start. Do not press far slash at round start. A much greater option is to go for a neutral jump actually. This will be kind of hard to simulate, but if you look at the distance I'm at right now versus the distance of a charge Fujin, this is like exactly the distance where a neutral jump would make the charge Fujin width. I think I can maybe do this. I can do recording, Fujin, save to slot 1, training settings, recording settings, start immediately, enabled, and now our opponent will Fujin. So if we just neutral jump, we make him whiff, and this situation is very, very good for us because we actually are in a counter hit state. Technically, let's kind of evolve on what we just did. I have to kind of reset right here. Or Anji can do this. Okay, hold on. Now I'm recording. Now I'm recording. Okay, now I recorded it for real, for real. Reset. So if we go for a button, Anji goes for a hop. Anji like sees that we jump and he goes for a hop. This is kind of the only option Anji has if you just do round start neutral jump. But once again, you're in a good position because if you know that he goes for a hop, you just go for a backdash and you catch him because you go towards him and you punish. Right? So you just round start jump. If they hop, you go for backdash. If they don't hop, you go for a falling button. And this is a very nice position to be in, just at round start. So yeah, jump, round start against Anji, very strong. Far slash, not so much, because spin will beat far slash. If we try to simulate this once again, we'll try to like press far slash as he would do his round start spin, which would look something like this. He gets auto guard, and you're very sad. So yeah, that's it for round start against Anji. Just keep that in mind. Jump, very good. Jump is very good. Was that game 2 against Anji? I think it was. Yeah, it was. Game 3, or at least set number 3. First of all, just let me mention real quick. The 3 sets so far I found I didn't even find a single set which was a first to 3. This is the most recent set. This is the set like that we're gonna look at like the final test, right? But yeah, I'd like you to play your best of 3, right? The more you play, the less you spend time in queues. So the more games you get per time, which is good. The more you play, the more you improve. So play your games to the entirety. Play the best of 3, even if you lose 0-2, even if you win 0-2, even if your opponent is a penis, whatever the case may be. Kind of a rough start against Sin. Sin is a very strong character, a character in which you will need to use all your tools, right? Sin can be very fast, Sin can use meter to extend his combos. Using DP in this matchup is very good because you make him bleed out resources. So yeah, once again, DP on wake up, very good. Other buttons, not so much. Nice conversion! Nice! That was sick! That was sick! Sick conversion, that was crazy. I really like a straight far slash into a 2H into that was awesome. To wall break, no super on the wall break, but that's okay, you don't have to. But I prefer doing super on wall break. Nice option at the round start. Nice, 2H, slight whiff, but you make him spend burst. Dude, this is going awesome, this is going well. You lost game 1, but still, pressuring him in the corner. Ching! I'd like to see a bit more meter usage. That's just to open a quick parenthesis real quick. If you're a new player, basically, if you're a new player, the way I recommend you spend your meter is just this. Do close slash, far slash, heavy slash into whatever. Let's actually tell our opponent to block. Close slash, far slash, heavy slash is very good. On any character. Dude, I told him to block! I told him to block! I'll guard! I'll guard! I'll guard! Okay, there we go. What? Why isn't he blocking? What's happening? Oh, hold on. What am I missing? Maybe counterattack setting? After block? None. Okay. Okay. Dude! Wait, pause. What's happening? What? Oh, I think it's because I have the recording enabled. Alright, sorry. So, close slash, far slash, heavy slash is very good. As a new player, I kind of suggest just doing whatever into a Roman cancel. So you do close slash, far slash, heavy slash, special move, Roman cancel, and after the Roman cancel, you extend your pressure. And if you instead hit your opponent, as opposed to making them block, then you just do close slash, far slash, heavy slash into super, and that's the same. So when you have a lot of resources, as you had at the end of the final round, which was like right here, you have 100 meter, just like do a special move right here and Roman cancel it. Right? That way you keep your pressure, you kind of get your opponent stuck, and you're happy. Spend your meter, just spend your meter. Once again, not a lot of movement, and you did the thing, you did the move, which is not very good. Your opponent spends a lot of resources. So that's a pretty decent burst, but once again, kind of near the end of the combo. So yeah, either burst early or keep your burst. Nice FD usage. Make him whiff the final move. Boom, into a punish. Here you can actually get a much greater punish, especially on the whiff. When he whiffs, he's very, very minus. But it doesn't really matter. Just you take back your turn, you start your pressure, and you're happy. So nice FD usage there. Kind of a rough yellow RC. I like the option of yellow RC, but you have to know when to use it. Yellow RC is kind of this unconventional defensive option. Sometimes it just moves on disjoints. Okay, kind of a scrappy ending here. Your opponent has a lot of meters, so you will be nice wake up option there because they went for a throw. But once again, a DP would have won as well. Ooh, nice. Okay, the chip to the end. Okay, nice. All right, nice win. Once again, kind of like not a lot of evolution because these games were kind of close together. We're going into final game just now. But yeah, still the main points I kind of like mentioned in the early games of using more movement. Standing still is not a good idea. You see your opponent is kind of moving a lot more than you are, so just move more. And you don't necessarily have to use special moves to move. You can just move, right? You can just run. You don't have to go for a move which will potentially make you lose. Sorry for the bit of lag there, I guess. Like, I recorded these games prior, right? So I could like analyze them frame by frame or just go into replay, right? While still having the game open. Nice overhead here. And you go, okay, pause. Nice overhead, nice option to go toss into jump into an overhead like this. But I will mention, however, that let's do kind of like a tier list of all the buttons you can do after this, right? You can go for kick. Kick is very nice because it's extremely quick. You can go for punch. Punch is kind of ass. It's like worse than kick. You can go for slash, which is really cool, especially after the angled one. Because slash is multi-hit, so you will get 2 overheads. And you can actually kind of turn this into a mix-up where you can go for charge 2 overhead, or you can go for this, and then slash is only 1 overhead, so this is kind of a mix-up. But then, the option you chose to go for heavy is not the best. Heavy kind of attacks at the same arc of kick. You don't need the extra range, right? At certain ranges, you need to go for heavy to hit. But after this, kick will connect as well. Kick is just straight up faster. So I don't like the option of heavy. Heavy is like kind of a bad overhead for Bridget. It's more of an air-to-air option, right? And finally, dust. Dust is very good because it's multi-hit. Once again, you can like get a bunch of overheads in. I tell my opponent to block, put him in the corner, and I go for a jump in with dust. I can like quadruple overhead it. And you can even have some cool cross-up things where this is kind of ambiguous. This crosses up, but then this doesn't, right? And it's kind of difficult to tell if you're about to get crossed up or your opponent is right over your head like this. So yeah, jump dust very good, jump heavy not so much, jump kick extremely good. So go for jump kick if you want. Kind of like the combo I showed earlier where you go kick, 2K2D, knock down, set on you yo-yo down, and you're chilling. Let's just pause, let's just make sure I stop this so we don't get unnecessary sounds. Here, FDing after you get your own hit, and kind of the same idea that I told you. After you get hit, get ready to block. After your opponent gets hit, he will be ready to block, so you don't have to FD, you can keep your pressure. Nice, your opponent whiffs, that was a good punish there, but here you needed to spend resources because you went for a move which was punishable, so you needed to spend your meter to run and cancel to extend your pressure from there. But yeah, overall, not too bad, kind of chill. Here, that was a much better option to go for the jump heavy because you were further away. That wasn't much of a mix-up, it was more of an approach option, so going for jump heavy there was fine. Here, once again, you got lucky with your opponent whiffing, but it's much preferable to go for a DP as opposed to something else, I guess. That's it. Keep your opponent in the corner. Kind of still their turn. That's okay. Here you're kind of chilling. Nice burst, kind of like the last second burst because you have to, right? You have to spend burst here. But you end up going for the move which gives you minus. That's the final game. That's the final replay I took. Yeah. If we want to maybe go over like a quick review of everything, I'd say move more. Move more. Just practice dash blocking. Like just run up and block. so you can like approach while still being relatively safe. Use yo-yo set and yo-yo toss more. Very, very good moves. Use jump kick when you're going for mix-ups. Also just practice having like a standard Oki setup. After you knock your opponent down, you want to know what you want to go for, what you can do, what leaves you safe and everything. In the case of Bridget, it's straight up just you go for yo-yo set, you go for a mix-up, and if they block, you go for another roll into another mix-up. So basically, every time you get a knockdown like this, and you get sent down the yo-yo, you get 2 mix-up because you get 1, and if they block it, the yo-yo set covers your way back. So after the yo-yo set, you get a second jump, like this. So 1 jump, mix up, and then you go for your second jump. Let's like try to not be stupid. Oh my god, what did I do? Okay, let's try to not be stupid and set it up properly. So I get yo-yo set, mix up number 1, and if you're fast enough, because I'm too slow here. Dude, I'm too slow! Pause, I'm too slow, sorry. Into another roll like this, and this gives you 2 mix-ups per mix-up. Obviously the mix-up is that you don't have to go for an overhead always, you can just go for a nothing, kind of like this, and fall down quickly to kind of bait your opponent into blocking high and go for a low immediately after. But you have to learn this, right? You have to learn how to go for your empty jumps, kind of like this. Another way to go for an empty jump here is to go for a move with more startup. But yeah, kind of high-low into your plus because the yo-yo hits on the way back. And to set yo-yo on the way back, you want to condition your opponent into blocking by doing this very often, because doing this will like force your opponent to block. If your opponent is forced to block, then you start doing this, and then you do whatever into a mix-up, and then you're happy. If you get a knockdown, you run your mix-up over and over and over, and then when you get your opponent to the wall, you can do your thing where you go for the frum frum, maybe the frum frum that we talked about, right? The frum frum. Oh yeah, that's pretty much it, I think. If you just move around more, just like get comfortable in training mode, going for jump in, going for jump back, going for FD in the air. FD in the air is pretty chill. You're chilling, dash block, you're chilling, choom 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 choom. And yeah, learn a bit of like every character's matchup, when you should burst, when your opponent's combo ends. Those are things that come over time. Yeah, you're kind of chilling. So yeah, I guess that's kind of it for episode 1, my first coaching session. Thanks for watching, everyone. I don't know when I'll upload this actually, because it might take a long time to edit. I wanna make sure the video looks nice every time I tab into VLC media player. It's gonna be like on full screen, so maybe I'm gonna zoom it in every time. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully, even if you're not the player in question, you learned something new. Maybe next time I'll do like a quick rundown of each character in the game, what moves leaves you minus, when you should punish them, because I talked about that concept briefly without like going into each matchup. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video, hopefully you learned something new. If you want me to coach, I know this is the end of the video, like nobody's gonna watch this part. But yo, if you want coaching, I'll do it. I'll do it for fun. Maybe at some point I'll ask money for it, but for now it's like, yo, I'm doing this for fun. There's no like supply and demand. Supply is 0, demand is 0, so yeah. Yep. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching, and oh my god, I'll see you guys in 2x scale. What? Alright, bye bye, guys. Bye bye.